Hello, everybody. We are live with another hangout. We are just waiting for Dee to join in the conversation. I know we're not supposed to start till 8, but I just like to sort of get things going just a few minutes early just to give her time. Let's see. May need to resend it. But if you guys are here for sex with animals when humans take animal bonds too far, you are in the right place. And I'm just texting Dee. Let's see, because she was saying she did not get that. So let me try that again. And once again, just want to let everybody know that we will be discussing some matters that are not appropriate for younger listeners. So listener discretion is advised. So please beware of that. This is not that we'll be saying anything like really graphic, but it will be consisting of adult subject matter, not suitable for younger kids. Still waiting on D. Get everything together. I guess I can let you guys know I don't have what's coming up for May just yet. I have not actually scheduled any Missy Show episodes for May. I do have all the blog posts sent out. Not sent out, but I have all those scheduled for the month of May, and I'm probably going to add a few additional ones. But right now, as far as shows, I've been contemplating not doing any shows for the month of May and just sort of taking a break because the latter part of that month I'll be kind of on vacay for a while. So we'll see, but I will keep you guys posted. Still waiting. Gonna text D and see did she ever get it. Let's see. But we do want to thank you guys for joining. And it's hard to believe we have been on since 2014. So yeah, that time has really flown by. I think we actually started this in April of 2014. So yeah, it's been some years. Hang on, we're still. Once again, I do apologize about all these technical difficulties. I think we did pretty good on our last show, but I don't know what's been going on with this one and the one before that one. I know one of the times I was having some internet issues and I was using my phone as a hotspot, so I don't know if that made a difference or not, and not quite sure what's going on with this one. Me and Dee, we both switched over to iPhone 8s, so she had to load a new app and she had to transfer all of her stuff back over. So I don't know if that's influencing anything or not. We will find out. So I just sent her another invitation. So we're just going to wait and see what happens. And hopefully she will be joining us in just a second. But yes, also May begins our Monday Mythical Beast episode. So we will be doing, this will be our second annual blogging of those subjects, and we're coming at you with some all new mythical creatures. So actually Monday, May 7th, which will be our first mythical creature, we have Medusa. On Monday, May 14th, we have elementals. On May 21st, we have sprites, spriggans, and fairies. And on May 28th, which is the last part of the series, we have gnomes, trolls, and elves. And that one may actually air on the, not air, but it may actually be posted on the 29th. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. But definitely the first three will be on the first Mondays of May. And I'm going to do a blog post this coming Monday anyway, which will be April 30th. And I'll officially let you guys know what's coming up in May as far as the Missy Show blog. Still waiting. I think Dee's still having trouble. Gotta love being live, don't you? Just never know what's going to happen. So we're just still waiting. Okay, she's texting me now. Okay, she keeps saying it keeps showing her no new invites. Okay. Okay, I'm typing it in. Let's see, I'm still here, guys. I'm just texting Dee, trying to be in communication with her to see what's going on. Hopefully we'll be able to get it going in just a little bit. I'm hoping we don't have to do what we did last time, where we have to shut this one down and bring up another one. I do apologize. Let's see. And I know on radio, dead airspace isn't a good thing. So I'm trying to keep on talking. I'm just still texting her. This is so crazy. I don't know why it's not letting her join. Let's see. Trying to figure out what she had to do the last time to get on with us. Let's see. Because I don't know if I may need to call her and just have her on speaker. I don't know. I don't know how the sound quality is going to be that way. I'd rather not do it that way if we could help it. She's going to turn off her phone and cut it back on, because I think she had to do something like that because she's been unable to do hers through the computer. I'm on my laptop doing this, but I think she has to do hers through her phone. So she's going to see what's going on, and I'm going to send another link. Yeah, but I pretty much have everything filled in for May, just about maybe one or two, maybe 3 dates where I might want to put some more stuff in there, but I'm still contemplating whether I'm going to do any Missy Show episodes for the month of May. I still would like to. I know I have one. I think it's just going to be one though, and if we do it, it'll probably be it's going to be either on the 12th or the 19th, because the next show will be due on May 12th. So thinking that we'll have something there. No, we're not. We were going to have one on the 12th and the 26th, but now I'm thinking it's just going to be the 12th, or I may just, come perfectly in the middle and let it be on the 19th. And then we will come back strong with some more episodes in June. Either way. So just in case this is able to work, I'm going to send her another invite. And we're just waiting for her to cut her phone back on. I must say this is a really interesting topic, and it's really like going down a rabbit hole. Oh, maybe a bad choice of words considering the topic. I didn't mean it in that way at all. But I mean, it's just so much, and a lot of it was disturbing. But then there was some of it where it was really interesting. Where if you try to take the judgmental side off of it, um, okay, she's saying that still nothing. I even turned my invite off and turned them back on. Okay, let's see here. I don't know. We may have to just go ahead. I may have to just call her and have her on speakerphone, and just hopefully the quality won't be too bad, because I don't think we're going to be able to have her come through the regular way. Let me see. I think last time I actually did have to shut it down. Let me see here. Okay, guys, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut this one down, and I'm going to try to just bring it back up again like I did last time. I really hate to do that. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, I kind of don't want to put her on speakerphone, because I don't think that's going to be the same. It would be one thing if she were here with me, but I don't know about putting her on speaker. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just still texting her, guys. Hang on. Still waiting. Yeah, because she said that she was trying to message me too, or chat with me, but that's not even coming through. See, I don't know if something got messed up when we switched phones or not. Switched over on Dee's end, since she had to like reload a lot of her apps and all of that stuff. I don't know. So we're still trying to see. I'm just waiting for her to say something back. One other thing, one last invite just in case. Just texting D, guys, just seeing what she's saying back. Okay, I'm gonna call her, and we're gonna test it, and hopefully you guys will be able to hear what she's saying, and it won't sound too distorted. She's just sending me something, so before I let her know I'm gonna call her, I'm just seeing what she's saying. Let's see. She may have been checking the wrong Gmail. The wires might have got crossed or something, so she's checking something else. I do apologize, everybody. And for those of you who are listening live, I do apologize. And for those of you who will be listening later in on YouTube, I'll be sure to put at what point you need to pick up on this. I'm hoping maybe that's what it was, that maybe she wasn't on the one we normally send it to, and that's all the issue is. And maybe once she goes on that, that'll straighten it out. So we're just waiting to see. We're about 15 minutes in, but I will let you guys know in YouTube land. And like I say, for anybody who is listening live, I do apologize for the mix up and all the confusion. We'll get it together. We're getting there. But yeah, like I was saying, it's really, if you can just kind of let go of the judgment side of it and just sort of like read about why people, I don't know if I want to say they choose that lifestyle or the lifestyle chooses them, or however you want to put it. It's really, it's just fascinating to just try to wrap your mind around like what's going on in the minds of someone who would want to engage in a sexual relationship with an animal or sexual activities with an animal, because it's very bizarre, very bizarre. But I'm going to try to hold off and save some of that till Dee gets on here. Just waiting. Just still waiting on her to respond back. And hopefully we'll be seeing Boomer's face pop up quite soon, because once I see that, I know Dee is here. So we're going to see. I hope you guys have had a good Saturday so far. Hopefully everybody's had an awesome weekend. It's a really pretty day here.
Jay!
Hey, I can see you. There you are. So is that what it was? Just the wrong email?
I have like 4 Google accounts. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay,
I'm back.
Okay, I don't know what happened.
I don't know. It just went out.
It went out. It went away. Okay, we're having some issues. Okay, but we are here. We are here. So
we are here.
Who are listening live, once again, we apologize for the confusion and all that good stuff. And thank you for joining us once again. And tonight we have a very controversial episode, maybe to say the least.
Yes. It's fascinating. It's very fascinating.
It is.
And I know you've done a whole bunch of research, Jay, and I'm just kind of diving into it a little bit. But yeah.
Yes, and for those of you who are just joining, I'll just repeat the title again. Tonight's episode, once again, it is listener discretion advised. So if you've got youngsters, anybody under, I don't know what the age is, but I was gonna say under 18. I don't know if that's what it is, but anyway, if you have children, young children, they don't need to listen to this episode, because we'll be discussing some adult subject matter. Nothing graphic, but still probably not something younger kids really need to hear. And It's sex with animals when humans take animal bonds too far. So we'll be discussing bestiality and zoophilia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
For those of you, I know some people may be like, well, what the heck is bestiality? So, okay, bestiality basically refers to the act of a human having sex with a non-human animal. The activities may or may not involve penetration, but they are sexual behaviors done for gratification. Now, one of the quiz questions from yesterday's blog post was, is bestiality and zoophilia the same thing? Now, I found a site that said they are not the same thing, but it seems like most of the ones I've been reading kind of uses the terms interchangeably. But the site that said they're not the same thing, they say that zoophilia describes the feelings of erotic or sexual attachment to and or sexual preference for non-human animals. So the way they break it down, they say bestiality is a practice. It's something that people do. And zoophilia is a preference or experience, something people feel. So that's that particular.
Okay.
It's liveabout.com. So they say they're related, but they're not exactly the same thing. But most of the other sites, they sort of just use the terminology interchangeably.
That's what I've seen. Because I was like, okay, is there a difference or whatever? And most of the ones that I've kind of looked at kind of had them both, like you said, interchangeably use the term when referring to both of them.
Yes. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I was just saying before you came on, Dee, how it's just like you going down a rabbit hole. All this information, and it just sort of one article
it branches off into another thing, and then that thing branches off into another thing, and like just before the show, I was texting you saying, hey, what constitutes a relationship? And because that's where my mind went, because and I don't know how you want to get into this, Jay, and how you want to start it or whatever, and don't let me override it, but that's like the thing that I can't get beyond, because I even looked at some stuff where people were like, pro bestiality and pro all of this, and I was like, I can't, it's one of those things I just cannot get beyond to say, okay, well, I like we always do. We try to present both sides of the case of this. And for me, it's just very hard to, I could acknowledge that there's another side to this where people say, yes, this is something, if what was it? It was something that I read where people were saying because humans are irrational, that's why they cannot, grasp the term or grasp the concept of it being a rational thing. Because we are irrational human beings, we can't grasp the term of it being a rational thing. So I guess I'm irrational in that state because I cannot, I can't. I can't see this as something that is, or that would be perceived.
Down to one word. It's one word: consent.
Exactly, and that's what it is for me.
There cannot be no.
There's I don't know how you can, put this, and I think for us, we try to see both sides of the the coin, and allow that to be there with all of our shows and everything. And I'm not going to speak for you, Jay, but I know for me, I don't see where there's another side to say that this is something that you could possibly say, oh yeah, this is I don't and maybe I need to do some more research, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna get there to say, well, yeah, I can understand where this can I don't, because there isn't on the side of the animal the ability to consent to this.
Exactly. Here's my thing. I get that a person maybe cannot help what they like or what
exactly.
I'm not blaming anybody on whatever orientation or whatever, so like I was reading about one guy who's in a relationship with the mayor,
Mm-hmm.
And he's married too, but it's really fascinating. And I actually didn't even finish his wasn't necessarily supposed to be a part of the show, but he was just talking about how he started having sexual attraction or feelings toward horses at the age of 11. So
Mm-hmm.
I get that maybe you cannot help what you're attracted to, but I just cannot get down with the fact that, animals are not people. They're
Yes.
not people with a human being. A person can clearly say yes or no or go along with it. And
Mm-hmm.
well, here's the thing. I know some people who are into this say, well, they do give consent because if they're not like acting out against it, or they really seem like they're going along with it. Some of them do. Okay, even if I give you the benefit of the doubt there, like, okay, dogs can hump your legs, blah, blah, blah. Or some people will say, well, yeah, they can do blah, blah, blah. Or there are some people who feel like the animal approached them. Because I read
Mm-hmm.
some stuff too where they feel like the animal initiated it and whatever. Okay, let's even say that that's true. Let's just say that for a second. For me, it's still the fact you're the human being. You're
Rational
the
human being with
yes,
cognitive the ability to know right from wrong. Animals
yes,
are taught. You can be taught right from wrong. Human beings, and you're taught right from wrong as well, but it's just the thing of, you know, animals. And I just struggle with this. I mean, that's why I sent you that text, because there is no consent on the animal's part.
no,
Because then you break it down to the thing of what feels good, you know, what feels good. And I don't want to go into this area. I really, really, no, I don't even know if I want to go to that area, but for an animal, it is a thing of something might feel good to it, but it doesn't make it right.
exactly.
I'm just, it's, you will, you promote things that are naturally innate into a person, because we are all given, these things that make, just naturally, if you do certain things, that will make you feel a certain way. Let's put it that way. And with an animal, it's the same. But it does not mean that they are consenting. It just means that they're chasing that feeling of,
Yes,
this makes me feel good. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes
mhm,
sense, and I don't know if I explained that completely,
yes,
because I was going to go a different way, but I didn't want to go into that area. But so you can do something to an animal, just like when you might scratch its belly. They're going to lay there and let you scratch until your
yeah,
fingers fall off, because that makes them feel good. So
yes,
there might be things you can do to an animal that will make them feel good, but it's not right. Just like their thing, but it comes because there are certain sensory things, there are certain areas you can touch that have sensitive nerve endings that, promote this. It's how we were built. So yeah, you can do certain things that will evoke a certain feeling or something like that, but it doesn't make it right. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
You as
So
the human being, like I
have
said, even if you want to go there and say, okay, well, the dog approached me or blah blah blah. You as a person, a rational person, why would you even go there anyway? Though you're
exactly.
the one who's supposed to be like, nope,
No.
even if. Which I personally don't believe that an animal. I do get dogs can hump your legs. I know
Yeah.
they can eat. I know sometimes you hear that. And I even read something. I was on one of those little message boards or something where someone was telling a story about when they were a 7-year-old girl or whatever, and they were playing with some of their other friends, and there was this big Labrador or some dog or whatever, and she like tripped and fell over or something, and the dog just started humping her while she was just sort of down on the ground, and
Mm-hmm.
he was just sort of going to town, and she kept on trying to like push him off of her, and she just had a hard time. She was a kid trying to get him off of her. So her argument was that yes, animals, she was saying animals can kind of aggressively come at you. So I'm like, even if that is the case though, you're still the person. Why would you
Mm-hmm.
go along and engage in that? That's just like saying, for me, like say if you're enjoying a wine cooler and you have
Mm-hmm.
a toddler, just because a toddler comes up to you and they want to taste some of it or whatever, would you really give a wine cooler to a toddler just because
Exactly.
they
It's the
initiated
thing
and they
of
come?
ration. It's the thing of being cognitive, being able to discernment of what is right, what is deemed right, what is seen right and wrong. And in a position of, I don't want to say power, but in a position of being able to make that connection, you know. I don't know if animals can make that connection. I don't know if they can
I
sit
don't
there
think
and say,
so.
you know, this is wrong, or this is seen by society as not being correct. This is, you know, they're going off of urge. They're going off of a natural animalistic urge.
Hmm.
And I know some people say, well, humans have that. Yeah, but in addition to that, you have a cognitive, rational thing to say this is right, this is wrong. It goes with that. Maybe some people don't have it, and that's where the disorder comes in. You know, they don't have that thing that switches on to say, is this right or is this wrong? Animals just go with what feels good,
Yes.
you know?
Or they're in heat and they're just going,
Yeah,
in
this
most
is what,
cases, for them, they're just reproducing, and stuff.
exactly, exactly. So that's where I have that. That's the disconnect. That's where that line is drawn. And that's why I say I cannot, you know, say where I can say, okay, I can understand. I can, no, because animals don't have that thing of, you know, being able to consent, being able to say, yeah, this is, even if they're, it just becomes a thing. Even if you look, and I was like, because my mind literally, when I sent that text to you, Jay, I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute, because I went down that rabbit hole. I like parachuted down that sucker, because I was like, no, because then it becomes the thing of where I'm thinking, and then like I read something where people were saying, you know, well, you should have the right to do this because if you go out and get an animal, you should have the right to do what you want with your animal. And I'm like, if you put it in that concept, then you're just like treating like someone who would go out and um, kidnap a person and put them into the sex trade, into as a sex slave. You know what I mean? I don't know if that even makes sense. I don't even know if I'm going in the right direction. But if you have an animal, you bring that animal and you're making this person do stuff against, I don't know, necessarily doing it against their will, but and some things that I read that were just graphic, and I don't want to like, you know, go back and put that out here. But in some instances, the animal was not having, it sounded as if how they described it, the animal was not enjoying this.
Yes.
So, you know, it becomes, you know, a gray area. I don't know. I just,
There are
I'm
even
sorry.
animal brothels. I was like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, in some of these other
Mm-hmm.
countries and stuff, and well, could be here in the US, you never know. But I
You'll never
mean,
know.
there are animal brothels where, and I'm just like, there are actually people who go to places and they pay money now. And I know these animals, they're being made to do this stuff against their will, and because I read something where, and that this kind of broke my heart, where this man, he owns a farm or whatever, and he noticed that his sheep, who were normally very friendly with people, they started like shying away. They seemed very timid and afraid when he would like come around. And so he like set up cameras and stuff. And so he, recorded, he caught some people who were just like kind of coming on his land and stuff at night, and they were like raping his sheep.
Yeah.
And that's why the poor
Exactly.
thing, they
Yeah.
were being like afraid of people. And I'm just like, come on, what that just, oh, that did something to me. That
Yeah.
was that
You don't
was
even know where, you don't know where my mind, you don't,
yeah.
like this enrages me to the point where I'm like, wait a minute, you know, because it just makes me very, just do the research that we were doing. It just made me just, I was just, because you know how I am about my animals. You know how I am about my animals. You know how I feel about my animals, and just the idea and just being an advocate for them because they don't have a voice, and to know that there are people that are like saying, yeah, but this is something that da da da. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I don't think I will ever be able to. No, mm-mm. No,
No, me either. But
no.
okay. But coming back to the more scientific side of it also, this
Yeah.
is, it's just interesting. Okay, you have different classes of people. There, and you know what the most preferred animal is? It's dogs.
Mm,
The most preferred animal of choice, to engage in that behavior with, are dogs, and I think horses are number two. So dogs and horses. People who prefer dogs or have sexual proclivities toward dogs, it's called cynophilia.
Mm.
For cats, it's allurophilia. I just don't
Mm.
even see how that works with a cat. Okay, never mind. Okay, let me
Okay.
keep. Okay, for horses, it's equinophilia. I
Mm.
get that. Equines, I get that.
Yeah.
Okay, pigs, it's porcinophilia.
Mm.
They even have one for birds. And I'm just like, how does that work? But it's called ornithophilia. Now
Okay.
getting back to our topic from last time with dolphins, it's
There you go.
delphinophilia.
Yeah, because I went back there and I'm thinking, that, yeah, okay. Keep going, Jay.
There,
Keep
there's one
going,
for
Jay.
lizards. It's called
Lizards, Jay. Lizards.
her, herpeta, what herpetophilia, and there's one for insects.
How does that even work?
And
Is that
I
more
read,
of
I
like you're
read
just,
about
I
that.
mean,
That
how does
one,
that even work?
that one isn't that they are actually engaging in sexual relations with an insect. These are people who get off on having insects like crawl on their genitals and things like that in that area. They like that feeling, the sort of itchy sensation and that type of thing. But the name for that is called formicophilia. So yes, there are people who are into that. There were some other statistics I wanted to let's see. Well, they did say there, according, this was the Kinsey report. We studied all this stuff back in psychology, with
Yeah.
Alfred Kinsey, when he was he was the person doing all the sexual studies and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
he said that, let's see, this was in the 1950s, 8% of males and 4% of females had at least one sexual experience with an animal. And unsurprisingly, there was a much higher prevalence for zoophilic acts among people who worked on farms. 17% of males had experienced an orgasmic episode involving animals. And this one here, the most frequent sexual acts that humans engage with animals comprise calves, sheep, donkeys, large fowls, ducks, geese, dogs, and cats. And I'm
Okay.
thinking with a duck or geese,
I
how does
mean,
that work? How would
I
that
don't
work?
I don't even
I would
I don't
think one
know.
of those things, one of those larger birds would peck the crap out of you. It's just
I
like,
hope they would. But anyway, I'm sorry. I hope they would. But let me keep my personal opinion to myself. Um yeah, I don't understand how that would work. I mean,
because I'm thinking with cats. I'm thinking a cat, and I'm like, how that could not, well, I don't see how that will work without that really hurting the cat. I don't understand how
yeah,
that went.
exactly. And I would think that in some instances this would really hurt
Yeah,
these
yes.
animals in some ways. I don't know. I just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But and I don't want people to think that or we or but I am just because I understand that there are, you know, scientific and mental things that happen to certain people that make them go that way. I get that. I I get it, and that's why we have psychologists, and they were talking about certain drugs that are prescribed. I can't remember the name of it, andro something something something. I can't remember the name specifically, but so I get that, and I know that there are things that need to be done, and people that have legitimate issues that might probably seek help and things of that nature. But then you have people that don't. You have people that have these organizations, and I don't know if you saw some of the organizations because they have advocacy groups, organizations in the United States. They were looking at some of them, and I was just reading about some of them. Um, what was one? What was one of them called? I don't know if it's still around, but there was what was it? The Students of Objectivism for Rational Beastiality.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were the ones who said that the contention was that um, bestiality is illegal because humans are irrational animals, and that if humans were rational, citizens would not be arrested in jail for engaging in sexual acts with animals as animals that they own. So, I just, I
But
can't.
just because you own an animal does not give you the right to do that. That's like saying just because a child is your child, you
It
can
gives
do
you the
with that
right.
child as you please. No.
Exactly. And that's my thing. Is ownership does not mean domination and, things of that nature. So it's no. No. I don't feel as though I'm being very, very coherent, but no.
No.
So that's, you know, I
Now,
understand, and I can empathize with people that say, I have this irrational thing for this. I need to seek help. Or if you find someone and say, hey, this is irrational, you need to seek help. But then you have people that are just like, no, I'm fine. This should be legal. And this, no, no, no.
and there are actually a lot of people who have seen psychologists and stuff, and the psychologists are like, you seem like you're a rational person. You're good in every other way. So it's like, unless you're here seeking treatment because you don't want to do it anymore. Because I read about a guy where he was found sane or whatever, and I've
Yeah.
read about some other stuff, and it's just like for them, they just see it as it.
Another form of, like they were saying this could be another form of sexuality. There are people that are trying to get this to be seen as another form, just like you have, other forms of sexuality. This is one that they want to see as another form of sexuality
Just for
or
me,
fetishism, I suppose.
and I just still, and here's the thing, and I get that some of them are like, well, when y'all eat animals, are
Yeah.
they giving consent to be killed and eaten? And true, no, they're not.
Hmm.
No, they're
No.
not giving consent for that. But the more I thought about it, though, if all of us stopped eating animals or whatnot, in some ways you think about it, well, even in the animal kingdom, animals kill other animals and eat them for food.
Hmm.
Because I never really thought about it like that, because I sometimes used to say, well, maybe we shouldn't eat animals, blah blah blah, but then I thought about, well, animals actually eat other animals.
Exactly.
So it's
It's
like,
kind of
even if
this
you don't
cycle.
kill
It's
or
sort of the.
right, it's just a natural thing. And I'm not saying that I advocate the way animals are treated and in the
Exactly.
farm industry and all that. Not saying I advocate that, but to me, that's different. I get that they're not given consent to be killed and for their mistreatment and whatever they have to go through leading up to the process to become beef or pork in the grocery stores and all that. I'm not saying that, but but animals kill other animals too, though, for food,
Hmm.
regardless.
Exactly.
But to me,
Exactly. I agree.
there's a reason why we're different species. Just like dogs and cats are not meant to mate.
Hmm.
They're 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 both animals, but even they wouldn't come together and mate. An elephant and a skunk, they
Hmm.
don't go together.
Yeah.
We don't. We're human.
This
They're
is.
animals.
I
We
agree.
don't go together.
I agree.
We don't.
There's a certain, you know, I get it. Get it.
Now here's one of the other trivia questions, because we had some trivia questions yesterday that we were going to answer in tonight's show. And this is true or false. People only engage in bestiality when there are no humans available. That's false.
Yeah.
No,
Some
no.
people, yeah. I've read that too. Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
doesn't just have to be that. They say there are small percentages of some people that do report it was because they were just very socially awkward and were too shy to get someone, or either they just didn't have any people around them. They were in a very isolated area. But for the most part, let's see, this study done by Dr. Haney Maletsky, what she surveyed 93 zoophiles, 82 of them were men and 11 female. Only 12% of her sample said they engaged in sex with animals because there were no human partners available, and only 7% said it was because they were too shy to have sex with humans.
Mm.
Now, this is interesting. Listen to this. For females, the main reason for having sex with animals was because they were sexually attracted to the animal. All of them gave that. Or they had love and affection for the animal. 67% of them said that. And or they said the animal wanted sex with them.
Yeah. And see, that's
67%
where I
of
kind of
them.
like, how does that? Okay.
Yep. Now for the men, okay, let's see here. Okay, no, okay, this part. She says, Let's see. Most of the sample preferred sex with dogs. 87% of the men preferred sex with dogs. 100% of the women.
Wow.
Um, let's see. And or horses. 81% of the males preferred sex with horses. They still have 73% of the females. I guess all of them like dogs, and some of them, a high percentage of them, like the idea of horses too. Only 8% of males wanted to stop having sex with animals, and none of the females. Okay.
Okay.
That was very fascinating.
It's a fascinating
Let's
thing.
see
It
what.
really is. I mean, and like I said, I started to like, do research, and one thing led me to another thing, and another thing led me to another thing, and another thing led me to another thing. And I just thought, you know what? The whole, for me, the dissection comes from, it stops when you think about, okay, but the animal is not having a say so in this.
No, because it can't.
It
Not a
can't.
real
Exactly.
way a person can have a say so. No, they
Exactly. And what constitutes a relationship? Because basically, it's sort of being seen as a type of relationship almost. That's why I was coming to you saying, what constitutes a relationship? So for me, it's just like the animal does not have any kind of say so in this at all. It is
no.
act upon. And I know that they say that there are some animals that say initiate it, but an animal will also come up to you and scratch you for food, and either you
Yeah,
choose to give them food or you don't choose to give them food. So
exactly.
it's I don't know. Yeah, it just all falls back to the human
Just
in
like a
my
dog will
sight.
sniff your butt, but you still
Yeah,
sort of shoo it off. You're like, go
yeah.
away, okay? Chill out.
Being in the vet with my dog, many a times you have them and they're friendly, but they come up to you and you're like, hey now,
Yeah, yeah.
hey
You
Rover.
don't just stand there and you're like, hey, that feels good. No, you shoo them. You shoo them off. Tell them to go.
Hey Rover, step back now. I like you, but let me
Yeah,
pat your head.
yeah,
Go on. And that's the
exactly.
human taking it, saying no. If it's just on a personal level, you will not stand here, put your nose on my butt. So
No,
it's not going to happen. And that's kind of where that line is, because the human has the ability to that's where a dog can come to you to hump your leg, but you say get off your move, you know. Yeah, no.
it's just like I was thinking about my mom's cat Bopper that died just
Hmm.
here I think about 2 years ago. Bopper used to like to kind of hump people's legs when she'd get in heat. She'd sort of
Mm.
like to do that thing, but no one sitting there was going to be like, okay, Bopper, that's really what you want, huh? And no one picked her up and took her back into the room. I mean, come on. You just
Exactly.
sort of you
Exactly.
brushed her aside. You were like, okay, chill out, or let me get
You
up and
you
move.
understand. Well, here's the thing, and with me, because I mean, of course, Boomer went through his whole little phase.
Yeah,
He went through his whole phase completely. It was just one of those things where I had never experienced that with a dog before, because he was like the first dog that we actually, from baby to the thing. So we went through the whole thing. And I was just like, what is he doing right now? And so it was a thing of, okay, I understand this is a natural thing. It's happening, da 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 da. But it would not happen on anyone or any. No. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Never. Never.
one of the other questions was how many different categories of this are there? And there are actually 10 categories, at least based on this article that I pulled mine off of, and I'm kind of run through them. You have and some of these don't involve any type of intercourse, because this first one, I don't even know if I really would count this as, I don't count this as bestiality. It's human animal role players. And these are people who never have sex with animals, but become sexually aroused through wanting to have sex with humans who pretend to be animals.
Okay.
So to me, that's still just people interacting.
Yeah.
So it's just a person.
People making a choice to
Yeah,
da 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 da.
right, exactly. Okay, the next category is romantic zoophiles. These are people who keep animals as pets as a way to get psychosexually stimulated without actually having any kind of sexual contact with them. So these are your people, I guess, who can, they're petting them, but if you really knew what they were thinking, you know, they never have intercourse or anything with them, but it's kind of like they kind of get off on just having them around.
Yeah.
Okay, the next category, the third one, is zoophilic fantasizers. These are people who fantasize about having sexual intercourse with animals, but never actually do. Okay, they keep it in their head still. Okay. Next category is tactile zoophiles. These are people who get sexual excitement from touching, stroking, or fondling animals or their genitals, gross, but do not actually have sexual intercourse with them. Okay. So far, none of these categories, they're actually going there with them, but it's sort of building steam, as you can see.
Yeah.
Next category is fetishistic zoophiles. These are people who keep various animal parts, especially fur, that are used as erotic stimuli as a crucial part of their sexual activity, typically masturbation. So they're getting off on clumps of fur, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Next category is sadistic bestials. These are people who derive sexual arousal from the torturing of animals, known as zoosadism, but does not involve sexual intercourse with the animal. Okay, going into Dahmer territory.
There you go.
Next one is opportunistic zoosexuals. These are people who have normal sexual encounters, but would have sexual intercourse with animals if the opportunity arose. So they're having sex with people, but hey, if opportunity came up, they'd go there. Then you have regular zoosexuals. These are people who prefer sex with animals than sex with people, but are capable of having sex with both. Such zoophiles will engage in a wide variety of sexual activities with animals and love animals on an emotional level. Next,
I wonder if that was you know, the show. You remember the show? Well, we just did the show with the dog. Yeah. Because remembering how she was speaking about her relationship to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Could have been somewhere like that, because she said for her it was more sensual. It was sexual for him, but sensual for her. Yeah. The next category, we're back in the Dahmer territory for real. Homicidal bestials. Those who need to kill animals in order to have sex with them. Although capable of having sex with living animals, there is an insatiable desire to have sex with dead animals. Okay. And the last one is exclusive zoosexuals. These are people who only have sex with animals to the exclusion of human sexual partners. So those are your different categories. It's just,
you know, it's fascinating because, like you say, you know, in one way you think, okay, this is little Fido. But in another way, you want to know what makes a person go there in their brain. What makes them, aside from someone says, no, I would like to have a relationship with another, you know, woman or another man or vice versa, whatever. But then you have a person says, no, I'd like to have a relationship with a horse. And you're thinking, okay. But what makes you, you know, that's for me, and I can understand what you're saying. It's a fascinating thing for you to go there in your brain to try to wrap your brain around what is it that makes you, what is it, you know?
Yeah, and it's weird, and I know it's just another type of paraphilia, and that's just like having odd, you know, sort of sexual attractions, just like we were discussing the other day, Dee, about the person who was attracted to their car. And you have people who are attracted to inanimate objects, you know, because I looked at where a person was attracted to inflatables, like the things that you use in the pool to help you float. He actually was having a relationship with his inflatables, and he had a lot of inflatables all around his living room, and he said he was in love with them, and he cared about them, and it just makes you wonder, like, what's going on. And both of us studied psychology, and so we naturally find these things fascinating. And it's not just really to bring judgment, although in the case of the cars and the inflatables, that's more harmless to me because those are inanimate objects.
Are inanimate
Nobody's
objects, exactly.
Nobody's
Exactly.
with that.
Exactly. Who's and who's the voice of the bridge, because I think there was a lady who said that she wanted to marry a bridge or she wanted to do something with the bridge. But okay, it's a bridge. But when you get it to the point of, there's this helpless animal who doesn't have a voice, then it becomes no, no.
Yeah, because I think for me, if I were and I know it's probably easy for me to judge them because I don't have that particular mindset, and it's
Yeah,
easy to say that's not something you suffer from anyway. But I would just like to believe that if I were in that mindset, I would want to just get help. I would never want
exactly.
to on that.
Exactly.
I would just, if I truly loved animals, and not just in that way, but if I truly loved them, I would be like, I don't want to potentially hurt them. So I would rather
Exactly.
just get help and try to work through that and never ever act on it.
Exactly. And but then you have, like I say, those groups that say this is a natural, normal thing, and if you own them, you should be allowed to do whatever you want with your animal.
It's no, I just do not agree, because to me that's just, it's abuse to me, because you're
Yeah,
just sort of using your power. and
exactly.
and even if you, and of course with animals you can train them to do stuff, and I think a lot of times, especially with these people who are having relationships with dogs, the dog's just like, okay, this is what we do, I get a treat after this, or whatever.
Exactly.
Train them,
Exactly.
you know
Yeah. And so that's why it's a thing of, it just crosses a line for me. It crosses a line, and it's a line that's being crossed because you are, putting your ability to think, because you have to say, okay, I can do this to this animal, but I can do it this way. And, you strategize in some ways of how to make this happen, how to make
hmm
this work, So, and the animal's just there for, hey, 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 hey,
yeah,
so,
especially dogs, because
yeah,
dogs are faithful and they just love you no
yeah,
matter what, and
yeah,
that's an abuse of power, oh,
exactly. An abuse of power. Exactly. It's an abuse of power. It's an abuse of power. So, I don't know.
there
I
it's
don't know, Jay. I don't
yeah,
know.
this is one where it's just, it probably won't be solved.
No,
My
no.
heart goes out of course, to the animals, because they can't give, I still say, in my opinion, they can't give consent. But I also feel bad for the people who go through this, because I
Yeah,
know they're
exactly.
marginalized, and this is something that they can't really talk about mainstream, and they have to kind of lurk in these little groups, sort of hidden away and everything, and they have this mindset. I don't know if I want to say this affliction, or however you want to put it. And it's like, I guess they don't know what to do with it. They feel this way, and I guess they, just like anybody else, I guess they just want love or just whatever. Now for some of them, I guess, just like how you have rapists when it comes to people, they just, maybe it's a power thing, or they just care nothing but about the pleasure, but there may be some of them where they genuinely feel affection toward animals, but it's just like, I just wish there was another outlet for that other
Yeah,
than what they're doing.
yeah, exactly.
So I guess
Exactly.
on this one, there is no, everybody, it's a very polarizing type of thing. Although I
Yeah,
think
this show I think was more so just to explore, discuss, you know, give explanation, present, different kinds and whatever. I don't know if this will ever be something that will come up with a definite like the I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But I don't know if this show was one where we set out to say this is a cure of it, and this is why da 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 da. This was more for just to put it out there and say, hey, this is something
but
that's
I
going
will say,
on.
I do think they should make it illegal everywhere,
Yeah,
because it's
I'm on that train, and I will
not
put my hand
illegal.
up and vote.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
illegal everywhere, and I really just think that that should be illegal.
and I think the degree of it being illegal should be felony wise. I
Yes.
think in some places they're just misdemeanors, the punishment for it. I think this should be up there with just abuse of an animal.
Yes.
How a lot of the rules are being changed for, if you abuse an animal, this should be right up there with it. In my opinion, this is just my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's right. It's right up there with child abuse, and just like how a lot of now I don't know, and that's a weird thing. That's not illegal everywhere. Like incest, I think that should be illegal everywhere. It's
Yeah.
illegal. It's illegal. But there was one question that I skipped over, and it was what is fence hopping, and that's sort of like what I was talking about with the sheep. That's when you're sort of illegally going over onto someone else's property and having your way with someone else's animal.
Yeah.
This is an animal that isn't necessarily yours. You're just kind of doing your thing.
Yeah.
That's fence hopping, and that's not cool.
Nope.
None of it is. But
God help them. I'm sorry. Hop my fence. Anyway. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's another whole episode right there.
That's a whole nother episode.
So we want to thank you guys for tuning in to another Missy Show episode. Like I was saying earlier, I do not have May's episode scheduled yet, and I'm thinking there'll just be one in May, but we'll keep you guys posted on what that's going to be and when it'll be. But we'll still be doing our blog post, and I've got one coming up for you guys on Monday, and we're getting ready for the Monday May Mythical Beast coming up. So here's to hoping you guys enjoy your weekend. And as far as this debate, do your research. I mean, I think I probably know what most people feel about it, but if you're interested in just maybe the psychology of it, but I warn you, be careful, because when you start researching, you're going to see some other stuff.
Yeah, there are some sites, there are some links. There are some links, and there are some sites that you need to be really careful about, especially if you're doing research on this, because there's some stuff that pops up, and people know there's some stuff when you put something in a search engine, it's going to bring you up stuff, and this will bring you up some stuff. So just be careful where and how and when you do a research on this, because it's some stuff out there.
Yeah, I'll say one thing: there's certainly a market for it. It's shocking. It's really shocking that there's like a whole porn industry around this, and that is so crazy. I'm going to end it there because I'll get on my soapbox again. So I'm going to end that.
I tried not to get on mine. Hard. We'll just, okay.
So we're going to end it there. Thank you guys for listening. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of fiddle with the YouTube version of this and try to give you guys a heads up of where this actually picks up beyond our technical difficulties. So once again, here's to wishing you a great weekend, and we will talk to you guys next time. Bye.
Have a great one. Bye.